they also want you to get back to them about their ideas, as I said earlier in the show. They don't want to give you a suggestion or ask for something and be ignored, just like any other generation. But I do think also we want to pay attention to what they have as equipment. One of our young folks that we interviewed, this young woman who said, BlackBerries were permitted. We only had about 10 or 15 that were being bought by the corporation for us, and so they gave them to the 10 or 15 more mature workers, and there we were as Gen Xs and Gen Y. We knew how to work the BlackBerries, and the boomers didn't, and they weren't using them, and it was real frustrating because the younger worker says, "Put it in my hand, I can put it to use." So if you gave me 60 seconds, those are the 4 or 5 things I'd say.
And that boomer can do a heck of a lesson on how to use a Franklin planner.
Yeah.
I was actually a part of that when we did a test case for BlackBerry, and I remember everybody in the room was like, what is that thing? Or why are we? And I was trying to. I was coming up with justifications to why this BlackBerry made me more efficient and I was better off. But
well, I will tell you, if you carried all the stuff that went with the Franklin planner, you sometimes wondered, how am I supposed to do this? You had the big fat book and all that.
Oh, sure. It came with a ruler, an abacus.
And you needed to work out to be able to carry the thing.
Yeah.
So, but I do also want to remind you that I think we have to remember we have 4 generations in the workplace, really, don't we? Because some people in their 70s are working.
Yeah, and they're smarter than all of us.
Yeah.
Frankly, right? You put a BlackBerry in their hand, forget about it.
Just turn it on.
It'll be used for something else maybe. But the 4 generations are, you're mature, then you're boomer, then you're Gen X, then you're Gen Y. We find that as we look at leadership things and who's going to take charge voluntarily and so on, the Gen Ys will do it. They also have a real strong sense of giving back and doing some community service and so on, and that's wonderful in the corporations that are trying to run races for charity and so on. The Gen Ys will come to the front to do that.
Hey, what do you call the 70-plus generation?
Mature, or some people say traditionalist.
Okay, all right. Now listen, we're going to do a little game show here. Game show. All right, Timmy. This is Timmy versus Dr. Joanne Sujansky from the great town of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm going to throw out the generation name, and I just want one word. One word that comes to your brain for that generation, and I'm going to decide which answer is better. Okay? All right, we will start with Tim O'Brien. Tim O'Brien, are you ready?
I'm kind of nervous about this.
Okay,
right.
And listen, let's keep it clean. Generation, traditional. Timmy, go. One word, and don't think.
Esther? I mean, what do you mean one word?
You can't say Esther. One word that would describe that generation, Timmy. Go. We got
timely.
Dr.
Don't start with that one. Joanne, you go first.
I was just going to say experience,
yes.
But I also was thinking bifocal.
See, now listen, this is ridiculous. All right, you both fail that one. Number 2, ready? Joanne, Dr. Joanne, we're going to start with you. Boomer. One word, please.
Cool.
Cool? Oh, it's because you're a boomer.
Well, also, I remember being cooler at one time in my life.
You know what mine was? Hippie.
Okay? Yes,
hippie.
Yes.
Go, what's yours?
Foundation.
Foundation, what's that mean?
I don't know. I was trying to get something deeper than you were. You just threw it out too fast.
Listen, if it's going to require a detailed explanation, don't use the word.
You can't do this in one word.
All right, Dr. Joanne, here we go. Now, Timmy, you go first on this one because you're on a real roll. Generation X, one word.
Us.
Dr. Joanne, would you give a tutorial, maybe a private session off the air?
This is not a real game. This is a Sullivan game.
All right,
you are making
ready?
Up.
Dr. Joanne, Generation X, one word, please.
Tweeners.
Whoa.
Tweeners.
Just in between,
I know
between the Ys and the boomers.
All right, and here we go. Last, Timmy, I'm going to give you a shout at this one. Generation Y.
Kids.
he's so lame. Yeah, your turn, Dr. Joanne. Generation
Multitaskers.
What is it?
Multitaskers.
Oh, that's with a hyphen, so that is one
word.
That's
right.
Oh, you snuck it in there.
What's your
tricky
word? What's your word?
All right, write down the list.
No, yeah.
Traditional. Bob Hope. Boomer. Forrest Gump. Generation X. Pet Shop Boys. Generation Y. Jeez, I'm kind of stuck with that one.
Yeah.
Let's go with.
Come on, I didn't get this much time.
I don't know. You know what? I've got the master
Dr.
microphone
Joanne, help
here.
him out a little bit.
iPhone.
iPhone.
Twitter. Facebook. Which one do you want, for crying out? There's three good ones.
Right.
All right. Well, listen. Here, as we come down to the closing wire here, I think let's recap. One thing I think we have to stress is, and we talked about this going into the break, is how do we communicate with these folks? And of course, Joanne, you're very familiar with a fellow named Tom Winninger from also a great national
NSA person.
A great NSA person. And it's funny, I'm working with Tom on some things, and I was reviewing some of his videos, right? Just last night, late in my office. And one great thing he talked about, which I think applies to the Generation Wire, but of course he was being more general with it. He said, as leaders and coaches, often what we do is we make coaching a casual event. So we'll catch you in the hallway, and we try to make our point, right? Or it's hey, Bill, remember next time, why don't you try this? Or, hey, can I get that report in? And it's done very casually. And what he says is you can't coach and you can't communicate casually. And as I think about these Generation Yers who need feedback, be very careful in delivering this casually. Now, here's the concern. They often help create a casual, fun, light environment, which often forces us as the leaders into this, maybe that's how we're supposed to communicate with them. Don't get sucked into that trap.
Wonderful point.
The feedback that they need is absolutely valuable to helping them grow. And they can spot a sucker when they see one, but they can also spot a leader when they see one. Get out of the hallway, put the drink down if this is a social event, close the door, and help these people grow in a very formal, pre-planned way. That, in my opinion, is how you change Generation Wires. What do you think?
I think it sounds good. I wouldn't, however, miss the opportunity walking down the hall to say, hey, great job.
Little chest bump.
Right after an event or something. Then pull them in and talk when the time is there. And it should be soon, But, I think they also love that real high of hearing immediately, great job, and then pull them aside and spend 5, 10, 20 minutes with them, because then they know what behaviors they're supposed to repeat and which ones they should let go of.
Perfect. Absolutely. And then put a little smiley face, a couple stars right there on the eval form, and watch. They'll dump you in 4 months and go for a better job, those stinking rats.
You're not going to change them. You can just educate them.
Oh, gosh. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's
go back to that game now, my friend.
Well, listen, Dr. Joanne, you have been awesome. We thank you so much for calling in from the great state of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That would be a city.
Yep.
Great.
Be a city, but that's okay.
See, you know what? I'm a Generation Xer. I'm already losing some of the cells. All right. Hey, one more time, your website.
You can go to JoanneSujansky.com or KeepingTheMillennials.com.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Joanne.